The Grand Assembly Hall of the Galactic Coalition stretched across 3 kilometers of polished crystalline floor, its vaulted ceiling disappearing into artificial stars that mimicked the homeworlds of 1,000 species. Representatives from across the galaxy had gathered for what many believed would be humanity's final hearing. Admiral Sarah Chen stood alone at the center of the vast chamber, her dress uniform crisp despite the weight of exhaustion that pressed against her shoulders. Around her, in concentric circles that rose like an amphitheater toward the distant walls, sat the most powerful beings in known space. Their forms varied wildly, crystalline entities that chimed with each thought, gaseous beings contained in environmental suits, massive insectoids whose chittering filled the air with alien music. At the highest tier, on a throne carved from a single asteroid, sat Warlord Kethvar of the Hegemony. His species, the Vorthak, had conquered 17 sectors before the Coalition had finally contained them. Now, in the aftermath of humanity's recent expansion into contested space, he had called for this tribunal. Humans! Kethvar's voice boomed through the translation matrices, each word dripping with contempt. His forearms gestured dismissively at Chen, metallic claws catching the chamber's light. A species that has existed in space for barely 2 centuries, yet dares to claim territory in the outer rim. They multiply like parasites, strip worlds of resources, and show no respect for established boundaries. Murmurs rippled through the assembly. Some species nodded in agreement. Humanity's rapid expansion had made many nervous. Others remained silent, watching with the patient calculation that came from millennia of galactic politics. Chen had heard these accusations before. In the 3 days since the tribunal began, speaker after speaker had risen to denounce humanity's aggressive expansionism and reckless disregard for galactic law. The humans had broken no laws. The outer rim was unclaimed space, but law and politics were different beasts entirely. The solution is simple, Kethvar continued, rising from his throne. Even at this distance, his massive form dominated the space around him. Humanity must be contained, their expansion halted, their colonies disbanded, his 4 eyes fixed on Chen with predatory intensity, or they must be eliminated entirely. The word eliminated hung in the air like a poison cloud. Several representatives shifted uncomfortably. The coalition had rules about genocide, but enforcement was another matter entirely. If enough species voted to declare humanity a galactic threat. You speak of elimination as though it were simple, said Ambassador Thexira of the Meridian Collective, her crystalline form ringing with harmonious tones. Humans have proven remarkably persistent. Kethvar's laugh was like grinding stone. Persistent? They are soft creatures from a weak world. They require constant supplies of oxygen and water. They break easily and die young. I have studied their military capabilities, crude kinetic weapons and chemical propulsion. My hegemony defeated the Korthani Empire, beings who could manipulate gravity itself. What challenge could humans possibly present? He descended from his throne with deliberate slowness, each step echoing through the chamber. I have brought my fleet to this system, 200 ships, each one a masterwork of Vorthak engineering. If this assembly grants me the authority, I will personally oversee humanity's removal from the galaxy. It will take perhaps a month. Less, if they surrender quickly. The silence that followed was deafening. Chen felt the weight of 1,000 alien gazes upon her. This was the moment she had been dreading and preparing for in equal measure. As humanity's sole representative, she carried the fate of 30 billion souls in her words. She looked up at Kethvar, who now stood only 50 meters away. The warlord's scarred hide told the story of countless battles, and his reputation was built on the bones of entire civilizations. But Sarah Chen had been at Proxima B when the raiders came. She had seen what humans could do when their backs were against the wall. Warlord Kethvar, she said, her voice carrying clearly through the chamber's acoustics, you say you've studied human military capabilities. Tell me, did your research include our history? The alien's eyes narrowed. Your petty tribal conflicts are of no interest to me. Then you missed the most important data. Chen turned slowly, addressing the entire assembly, while keeping Kethvar in her peripheral vision. Humans have been fighting wars for 5,000 years. We've fought with sticks and stones, bronze and iron, gunpowder and nuclear fire. We've fought in deserts and jungles, in the depths of oceans and the vacuum of space. We've fought when outnumbered, outgunned, and out of hope. She paused, letting her words sink in. But more importantly, we've never stopped learning from our defeats. Kethvar snorted. Ancient history means nothing against modern warfare. Doesn't it? Chen's smile was sharp as a blade. You mentioned the Korthani Empire. Gravity manipulators. As you said, formidable opponents, but they fell to you because they relied too heavily on a single advantage. They couldn't adapt when you found ways to neutralize their gravitational fields. The warlord's expression shifted slightly. The fall of the Korthani was indeed attributed to their tactical inflexibility. Humans don't have that weakness, Chen continued. We don't have natural armor like you or the ability to phase through matter like the ethereals or the hive mind coordination of the swarm collectives. We're generalists in a galaxy of specialists, and that makes us the most dangerous species you've never properly studied. She began walking toward Kethvar, her boots clicking against the crystalline floor. You want to know what humans do when faced with extinction? We innovate, we adapt, we find weaknesses in systems that seem perfect and exploit them until they collapse. Empty words, Kethvar growled, but there was less certainty in his voice. Now, are they? Chen reached into her uniform pocket and withdrew a small device, a standard datapad, nothing threatening. 3 days ago, when you first made your threat, you probably thought humanity would spend this time pleading for mercy or scrambling to evacuate our colonies. She activated the pad, and a holographic display materialized above it. Star charts, fleet movements, tactical analyses, weeks of preparation condensed into a single devastating presentation. Instead, we did what humans do best. We studied our enemy. The display zoomed in on technical schematics of Vorthak ships. Your vessels are indeed impressive. Quantum fold drives, plasma cannons, shield matrices that can deflect most known weapons. But they have a critical flaw. Kethvar leaned forward despite himself. What flaw? They're designed by a species that's never lost a war. Chen's voice dropped to almost a whisper, but in the vast chamber's silence every word carried with crystalline clarity. Your engineers never learned to build redundancy into critical systems because Vorthak ships never retreat. They never survive long enough for their weaknesses to matter. The hologram shifted, showing detailed analysis of the hegemony fleet's formation patterns, supply lines, and communication protocols. We've had 3 days to prepare, Warlord. 3 days to position long-range sensor arrays, deploy stealth, reconnaissance drones, and analyze every aspect of your fleet's capabilities. She looked directly into his 4 eyes, her expression calm as still water. You came here with 200 ships to eliminate humanity. What you don't know is that we've spent those same 3 days turning this entire system into a trap. The display changed again, revealing hidden human positions throughout the system. Asteroid mining platforms that were actually weapons batteries. Commercial vessels whose cargo holds concealed torpedo launchers. Seemingly innocent research stations that had been converted into electronic warfare centers. The Meridian Collective's gravity wells can be artificially sustained, Chen continued, her voice growing stronger with each revelation. The ethereal phase shifters can be tracked using quantum resonance detectors. The swarm's hive mind can be disrupted with targeted electromagnetic pulses. Every species in this galaxy has taught us something about warfare, often without realizing it. Kethvar's confidence was visibly cracking. You're bluffing. Humans lack the technology for such preparations, do we? Chen smiled again, and this time there was something predatory in the expression. You assume that because we're young, we're primitive. But humans have a saying. Necessity is the mother of invention. When faced with extinction, we don't just fight harder, we fight smarter. She gestured to the hologram, which now displayed real-time tactical data. Your fleet is currently surrounded by 47 disguised weapons platforms, 16 stealth ships, and approximately 3,000 automated drones. Your quantum fold drives are being jammed by a subspace interference network we've spent the last 72 hours deploying. Your communication arrays are vulnerable to a virus we developed based on captured hegemony code fragments from your raids on the Outer Rim colonies. The chamber erupted in surprise chittering harmonic chimes and various other sounds of alien astonishment. Several representatives were frantically checking their own sensor networks, trying to verify Chen's claims. But here's the thing. Warlord, Chen said, her voice cutting through the noise. We didn't prepare all of this to destroy your fleet, we prepared it to prove a point.